What is IELTS? The IELTS, or the International English Language Testing System, is the most used English exam in the world for higher education that belongs to Cambridge University. IELTS is designed to measure English language through an examination of reading, writing, listening, and speaking skills.
It is very important because in addition to measuring your level of English, it also allows you to enter certain universities in different countries.
Where can I take it? In Mexico, there are many IELTS centers around the country where you can take the exam. In Mexico City, there are centers in Polanco, La Condesa, and Satélite.
Accepted. The IELTS is a global, internationally recognized exam accepted by more than 8,000 institutions in 135 countries, including Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, South Africa, the United Kingdom, and Mexico, and more than 1,100 North American universities and colleges.
How the results are presented. You will be scored with an IELTS score range of 0 to 9 for each section of the exam, 9 being the highest grade. Each section of the exam, listening, reading, writing, and speaking, has a score that is averaged and rounded to obtain an overall test result. The 4 tests have equal value. If you have taken the exam on paper, you will be able to check your results 13 days from the exam date.
Keep your eyes on. You have 60 minutes to solve 3 sections with 40 questions. There are 3 texts with around 2,500 words altogether. The texts are taken from books, magazines, journals, etc. There will be different types of questions, like multiple questions, true or false exercise, matching information, matching headings to paragraphs, short answers, questions, list selection, chart completion, etc. Tips. Keep an eye on time, start at the beginning, answer as many questions as you can, skim the questions before you read the passage, don't worry about unknown words, to make it easier, use keywords, try to make mental notes, and don't read it all to be faster.
There are 2 tasks to do in 60 minutes. In the first task, you have 20 minutes to write 150 words or more, where you are graded on the ability to explain a graph without giving a personal opinion or fake information, following instructions properly, writing clearly and relevant description of the information. Writing using suitable structure. Use the connective words, link sentences. Use rank of appropriate vocabulary and more. Spend 5 minutes reading the graphs. Make sure you understand. Focus on the key information. If 2 graphics, compare. In the second task, you have 40 minutes to write 250 words. In this one, you can say your opinion as well as your true or fake facts from outside sources. Under word limit will be penalized, so be careful and count your words. You can make notes. To make a better essay, try to not copy the phrases that are in the question.
Don't stop! This is your opportunity to talk. In speaking, you will have 11 to 14 minutes to talk in 3 different parts. You have to use your skills to talk in present, past, future tense, and informal at the same time. So breathe and just imagine that you are in a coffee shop or that the examiner is your best friend. Speaking is made up of 3 parts: Part 1, the examiner asks the candidate about him or herself, her home, work or studies, and other familiar topics. Some examples are: how often do you make phone calls? Why or why not? How do you spend the most amount of time talking to the phone and why? When do you think you'll make the next call? Why? Sometimes do you prefer to send a text message instead of telephoning? Why or why not? Other fun topics they will ask is about family and friends, habits and routines, work or studies, plans and goals. What do you plan on doing? Holiday and planning experiences, hometown and neighborhood, sports and leisure. The part 2 consists of the examiner that will give you a topic to talk about for 1 or 2 minutes. Before you speak, you will have 1 minute to think about what you want to say. The examiner gives you a card with a topic on it. It will look like this: informal, formal or present, past tense, and future. Example: describe a place where you have visited which you talk about. Where this place is and how you traveled there. What is it like? Why you went there. Explain why it made an impression on you. After 1 minute, the examiner will ask you to start speaking. You can start sooner than a minute, but if you like, but make sure you know what you are doing first. If you are speaking after 2 minutes, the examiner will interrupt, but this is not a problem. At the end of part 2, the interview will ask you 1 or 2 follow-up questions. Some tips for this section is write brief notes. Think of at least 3 things to say about each of the questions, but make 1-word notes. Leave enough time to talk about the most interesting questions. Part 3. It's formal, wide-range vocabulary, future tense, reflection, complex structure. The examiner will ask you questions related to the topic in Part 2. However, the questions in Part 3 are most general in nature. There's more room to develop your answers. Don't feel you should stop speaking after a certain amount of time.
Listening. Your ears must be well washed to do this task. It takes 30 minutes, in which you will have 4 sections. Each one will be 10 minutes long. Be careful, it is played only once, so read the questions before you begin this task. There may be different types of questions. For example, form, table, flowchart, summary completion, map, diagram labeling, matching, multiple choices, and many more. Tips: if you don't even hear some words and pass over some questions, don't worry, leave them blank and focus on the actual part. Don't write answers too quickly because sometimes this information is repeated or corrected for the next section. If you don't know any answer, try to guess.
Thank you for watching.